friends of the French Foreign Legion, I am greeting you. So, one of the first thing I started with, when I reached French Guyana in 1985, I start to write a diary. You can tell it Diary of a Legionnaire. And one of the first inscription in this diary came from the 14th September 1985. New platoon leader, Lieutenant Saint-Cyr. Right? So, let me tell you something about the French officers, or the officers in the French Foreign Legion in my time, in my regiment, and in my company. So the company commander was Capitaine Martin. And Capitaine Martin, he had an authority who was innate, who was lifelike, you know. One of the best book, by the way, one of the best book I ever read about the French Foreign Legion was this one. Frankreich's fremde Söhne, you know, the French foreign sons. And the author is Paul Boncarrière. And in this book, he describes a captain who took part in the war of Indochina, Vietnam, and his name was Capitaine Mattei. He was Corse. And the officers around Capitaine Mattei, if they were asked, how do you find Capitaine Mattei? They answered you, oh, he is not a company leader, he is a leader of bandits. And that's exactly what was Capitaine Martin for us. Not that we were bandits, not at all, but he was kind of unconventional, you know. You know, when we were making maneuver, when we were outside in the terrain, Martin came with us and he was lying next to us in the mud, in the trenches. And he drank beer with us without problem in the middle of the daytime, you know. Or he drank coffee out of tin metal cups like this, you know. And he was cheating with us. He was screaming on us, screaming with us, you know. And he was never, but nevertheless, he never gave up his authority. Yeah. He was the boss. He was the boss. And this was great. He was one of the best officers I ever met in my life. And I remember several times, when our company, the 3rd company, marched. Each Monday we had a big rassemblement. So the whole regiment comes together. Yeah. And normally our company was the last company to march in, by singing. We sang Dans la brume la rocaille. Dans la brume la rocaille. This was the song of the 3rd company of the 3rd REI. And when we were marching in, singing Dans la brume la rocaille, the others are waiting. We're also waiting. And we had a colonel, regiment commander-in-chief of the 3rd REI, was Tresti, Colonel Tresti. He was an Italian guy, small guy. He wears glasses and he always wears gloves. Even 35 degrees Celsius plus, he wear gloves. And when he observed the 3rd company marching in each Monday singing Dans la brume la rocaille, he always was screaming, fucking 3rd company, you were singing like Italians. You forget that he himself was an Italian guy, you know. And then you could observe Martin. He goes like this. Like this, like this, like this, like this. And his eyes says, maybe, mon colonel, but behind me, this is the 3rd company. This is my company. And we were all proud about Martin. Yeah. And there had been another scene. I was designed, after maybe 1 year presence in French Guyana, I was designed to follow the CME. CME is Certificat Militaire Élémentaire, what means I was going to become a caporal, you know. And Martin called me to his office, called rapport, And I was knocking in, I presented myself, and he told me, hey Gast, I want you to follow the CMU because none of your good-looking character, none of your good-looking eyes, beautiful eyes, because you earned it, because you're a good soldier. Come on. And he stood up and he opened the window, and outside we could hear the peloton, CMÖ, the caporal's course, marching and singing. Es steht eine Mühle im Schwarzwälder Tal. This is a German traditional song sung by militaries, and also the French for Legion are singing. Es steht eine Mühle im Schwarzwälder Tal. And he asked me, have a look downstairs. Can you see the placard of the man? The placard, what means that each candidate of the CMU wears buttons on his chest. Yeah, buttons, old yellow buttons from old uniform parts. And why? Some wear 1, 2, others wear 10, and other ones have big placards like this. They're wearing 45, 50 buttons on their chest. And he told me that every time when one of the CMU candidates makes a banana, das heißt, he has a misconduct, he makes bullshit, yeah, he was not comporting correctly, or he was bad in something, you know, last in running, last in parcours d'obstacle, he gets one button on his chest. And then so everybody can see from far, hey, this is maybe a good legionnaire, and this is a fucking trickster, yeah. And he told me, Gast, have a look, this is Falco, and this is his platoon. I want you to be one of these men, very soon. Okay? And this is very nice, you know? And there was another genuine thing from Capitaine Martin, that when his NCOs, or his legionnaires of his company, make a misconduct, whatever, a banana, whatever, you know, whatever it was, he ordered him to report, and then he leave you in garde-à-vous, stillgestanden, he stood up, he came close to you, and we were punching you terrible, you know, punching you, yeah? And this avoids that you had an inscription for misconduct, yeah? This avoids you a disciplinary procedure. And this was very good. So for us legionnaires, it was perfect. Perfect. And Martin was, until today, is one of the best officers I met in the French Foreign Legion. And when Martin comes to me today, yes, today, and asked me, hey, Gast, I want to build up, set up an army, and we were attacking Russia. You're coming? I would say, oui, mon capitaine, à vos ordres, mon capitaine. Straight away. So other officers considered that Martin was not an example to follow. He was not a role model like they learned it in the officers academy, you know. But for us, Martin was a commander who commanded his men, and this in a very genuine way. We loved him. We loved him. He for us, he was like, once I told you that Captain Hessler, the German charismatic captain in my basic instruction, he was, for me, it was like God. Martin, for us, he was not God, but he was the boss. He was the boss. Okay, a little bit more role model was my platoon leader, Lieutenant or Lieutenant Chavancy. You know, Herr Chavancy, he just came, he joined us in 1985, and he just came from Donau-Eschingen, Germany. And I think it was the 110th Infantry Regiment, something like that. And this is just before he runs through ESM. ESM is École, spéciale, militaire, Saint-Cyr. This is a little bit like West Point for the Americans, you know. And he finished very well. He finished between or among the best, you know. And when he came to us, this brilliant officer, brilliant young officer, when he joined us, he has a red face. He was as tall as I am. So 180 meters, 1.80 meters. He wears glasses. He was full of energy, full of goodwill also. And imagine you're a young lieutenant coming from the military officers academy, and then you are confronted, or you are asked to lead a platoon full of old legionnaires, as we have been, you know. Very strong work. This is a kind of this is a hard thing to expect to do, you know. This is no, how can I say it? It's eine Herausforderung, a challenge. Yes, it's a big challenge for him. But Chavancy, he was quite intelligent. By the way, he was a good runner, excellent runner, and a very, very good marksman. Yeah, and this is very important. Chavancy, he was intelligent, and not all officers of the French Foreign Legion has been intelligent, and they missed a lot of things. They missed their entry in the French Foreign Legion, and his intelligence. He told him, he whispered in his ears, "Hey, keep yourself a little bit in the background. Never give up your authority. Never abandon your authority." That's what he never did. He was the boss. He was the leader of the platoon, but he keeps himself a little bit in the background, and he perfectly asked advice at his deputy platoon leader, who was Chef Sass, you know. So he observed, he listened, he looked, and that is what makes him a brilliant officer, you know. And what day after day after day, when he was running with us, when he was drinking with us, when he was also like Martin cheating with us, he became one of us, you know. And he gave us the feeling that we have been at the same height, looking eye in eye to each other. And this was so important for him, you know. I remember the first time I met him, you know, all the young legionnaires has to present themselves to the new platoon leader. And his name, as I told you, was Chavancy. But the old legionnaires who have been in the regiment since 1 year, you know, he told me, because I didn't know in the beginning, his name was Chambourcy. So when you present yourself to the new lieutenant, you go to the office, go in, gardez-vous, and you present yourself. Legionnaire de première classe, and then you say, "À vos ordres, mon lieutenant." And you say also, "Platoon of the lieutenant," and then the name follows, you know. And I went in there and I presented myself and I say, "Platoon du lieutenant Chambourcy," you know. And to the left side of the lieutenant, I saw Sass, and his face getting red like a tomato, redder. And then, whoa, he was screaming, and he put me on the horizontal way to make bombs, you know, push-ups, fuck. And of course, the old legionnaires were cheating, because Chambourcy is a cheese. In French, it's a kind of cheese, you know, a well popular cheese mark, but I didn't know it. So it was very, very interesting. And I remember another time when Chavancy, we have been in Martinique making a commando course, yeah. And one day I already have been caporal. It was dinner time. He called me to his room, and when I came to the room, there was one table and 3 chairs, yeah. And one chair was for him, the other one for his deputy, Sass, and the third one was for Caporal Gast. And I took place, and he started to talk with me as I am his brother like a brotherhood, you know, eyes in eye, you know. He talked to me as I have been his friend. And this was very important. So we had dinner and we talked about everything. We talked about French, the situation in French, about Germany, about military, about French Foreign Legion, about everything. Friend to friend. And this is what makes this guy very genuine. And he did the same procedure with all legionnaires of his platoon. We loved him. You know, and Chavancy, he made a big career in the French army. He I remember in 1997, when I was in Nîmes, in second REI, I made my driver's license for the VAB, because we were going to Sarajevo, Bosnia war in Sarajevo, and when we young chef de group had to make the driver's license, and he knew by whatever way he knew, he was operations officer at this time. He knew that I was there, and then he called me to his office, and he said, "Hello, Sergeant Gast." He was lieutenant colonel, you know, lieutenant colonel at this time. And when I knocked on his door and entered, I was surprised. "Oh," I say, "Mon lieutenant." Of course, he was lieutenant colonel. And he said, "Hello, Gast. Let's have lunch together. Come on." And then we had lunch in the officers' mess. You know, a sergeant and a lieutenant colonel. This is very, very strange. And all the other officers were looking at us, but this was Chavancy, you know. And yeah, Chavancy was kind of more this role model of an officer. And then in 2010, around 2010, he was commander-in-chief of the Brigade Lafayette in Afghanistan. Later then, on 2014, he was military commander of the city region of Lyon, you know, and he finished up General de Corps d'Armée. So he had behind him a very tough career. You couldn't do it better, you know. And he started his career with his meeting with the Legionnaires, like we have been in French Guyana in 1985. Yeah, and it's the same thing. Like Capitaine Martin, when Chavancy, General Chavancy, come to me today, knocked on my door and say, "Hey, Thomas Gast, I want to set up an army. We're going to Greenland, yeah, Green Island, to avoid that United States of America invade Greenland for whatever reason, like Mr. Trump wanted to do." I say, "À vos ordres, mon général." Yeah, because this is with Martin and Chavancy. This is like the anciens, Mont Majorum, the old legionnaires. They know this kind of officers from the Indochina War, from the Algeria War. They were sleeping in the same room with the legionnaires. They were eating at the same table, drinking coffee out of the same mug. You know, drinking beer, but very strong and very good commander-in-chief, very good commander of men. Yeah, so. Afterwards, when I joined the second rep, I met other officers. Some were bad, some were brilliant. So, but let's say the first meeting with the two officers, Martin and Chavancy, for me and my career, and after for my life in the civil life, were the best experience I could have in my life. Yeah, that's it. So. I apologize for my bad English, but you know, it's always kind of difficult for me, because I'm talking German, I'm talking French, I'm talking a little bit English, and I talk also Arabic language. So to find words in the right language is not always very easy. Wildgänse rauschen durch die Nacht. Mit schrillem Schrei nach Norden, und stellt die Fahrt, hab Acht, die Welt ist voller Morden, und stellt die Fahrt, hab Acht, die Welt ist voller Morden. Pour la victoire de la Légion, avançons dans la guerre. This is a German song, Wildgänse rauschen durch die Nacht. In French we say, Les voix sauvages. And we sang this song very often in our platoon. Yeah? So, that's it for today. Thanks for your patience to listen what I have to say. Amitié, Legionnaire. Yours, Thomas Gast. Bye-bye.